Welcome to the Els van Laken Breakthrough Podcast.
Hello. Well, normally I always give many tips, and probably during this podcast today I will also give tips, but I just really wanted to give you one of my own main insights that I got in the last couple of weeks of a course, of a webinar we did ourselves. And when you look at social media or you look at many of the stories that people express, mostly they talk about things that are all going very well. And in generally, I can say that in general, even beyond, my life is fantastic. I have an amazing husband. I'm not saying that we always have everything like in a fairy tale. Of course not. We have discussions. We have things where we are not agreeing. But we have a very good foundation, lots of freedom that we give one another, lots of love. And it's already working we are now married for 12 years, and we are 15 years or 16 years, no, even more, 17 years together. So that's a good foundation. I have two amazing children. I have an amazing business. I have amazing coaches that I have in my team. I have an amazing back office team. Everything is quite well. So then you can say, oh no, she's going to tell a great story again. Yeah, this is all great. And still physically, I'm a mess. I feel emotionally good. I feel mentally good. I feel, let's say I'll talk about the mentally part also. I feel mentally good many times and also sometimes not. I feel spiritually really good and sometimes not. And so generally I feel quite okay. And still physically, things are not working as I'm used to. Being a woman that is always going, always on fire, always shifting reality of myself, of my clients, of bringing things forward, of doing different things differently than society does, creating our dreams, believing in what's more, and so on. And so that means that I always had my body always working, going the extra mile, not having any difficulties with it, or at least I thought it was not having any difficulties with it. Currently, I must say that after now having had many messages of all the people who work on my physical body during the last couple of months, I always get the same message that my kidneys are tired, and that's why, for example, I keep having this tiredness inside of my body, and that it doesn't get out of my body. And so, of course, in the beginning, I said, I'm doing my healings, I'm taking my supplements, I'm doing an amazing job, that I like, I'm passionate about what I do, I get energy from the why that we do, namely building trust by cleaning up the traumas and things of people's past so that they can accept where they come from, accept themselves and love themselves through that, and which always has a very big catalysator effect on their lives and businesses. So after having had now many of these messages and starting to have also other physical symptoms of focus, and I was, for example, sitting 1 hour too early in my car to go to the yoga, and I didn't even get it till I looked at my cell phone and I saw it was 1 hour earlier. I said, shit. So I realized something very important, that my physical health has been contaminated or has been emptied by my mental patterns. And of course, for many of you, that's not so new. It wasn't new for me neither, but I didn't realize that it was taking so much energy. In June this year, a couple of months ago, my acupuncturist, he told me already, Els, you are, of what I can notice, you are doing lots of mental work and you lots of mental processes, and also when your work, you have to organize everything as a CEO of your company, and so mostly people think because you don't see the work, because you're not doing physical work, that it's not so tiring as mental work, but it is. And when I was giving the seminar of surviving mechanisms together with one of my amazing team members, Patricia Bossard, on surviving mechanisms of trauma, what trauma is, and what surviving mechanisms we put alive to not go into our traumas, I realized at that time that there's mental patterns of worrying and mental thinking and going in vicious circles on worrying about the future and worrying about why things are not, worrying about my company mainly, not about other elements of my life. But I got a neck hernia on the 31st of May, and when it's very clear it was about essentially about frustration, because I believe my company should have already been 10 times further than it is today, and also because I was having a sort of still anger from my childhood. So it can be that it's not all structured, told, but I hope you can still follow it, and it still inspires you to do it differently, or maybe that you recognize things and can get inspired to say, oh, maybe I also have that, and it's also taking lots of my physical energy away. But I realized that, again, now for last week it's better, but I was last, like 10 days ago, I was with my energetical healer where I go every month on Haantjes, which is really amazing. But only after 1 hour and 40 minutes that she was working already on my body, it was the first time that I could start a little bit reducing the internal patterns of worrying, having many also this ID stream, which is also great, and also the to-do list. What do I still have to do? I always get it when I also am taking some rest, and I get also what are my to-dos and what are the things I should not forget. And I just couldn't stop thinking. And so it took me 1 hour and 45 minutes on luckily that I always book two hours of energetical healing. That was very confronting again, to say, wow, there he is again, this worrying part. And of course, I decided when I was 12 years old that I was going to get out of the poverty that we were at as a family. My mother was an alcoholic. My father left my mother with 4 children when I was 4 years old. And I decided when I was 12 years old that I was going to create another future for myself. So I was always worrying about the future and always looking on how I could create that future. I started working very hard when I was 12 years old, because I can tell you I'm not the most... I don't think, I never did the test, I think, but I don't think my intelligence is like sky high. But I worked always very hard to get my degrees. I always got the highest distinctions, high distinctions, and scholarships extra that I always got on high school, at the end of high school, but also at university. I went to the Vlerick Management School. I paid everything by myself. I really just created my own future, but I started working very hard, and I didn't realize that at that time because before I was 12 years, I could really connect very well with my body. Sometimes not, because I had to protect myself, but sometimes I could really just go into that laziness and just listen or look for hours to the sound of music, Dirty Dancing, and all these kind of cassettes that we had in the past. But after that, I just really started working very hard to create another future for myself. And I only realized a month ago how strong that surviving mechanism was, that it was really a surviving mechanism to start working so hard in my head to always look for a better future. And that's why I also got my neck hernia, because I indeed was again looking for how can I create a faster, a better future for my company, because it's not that my company is working very well, it's really okay, it's really good, and on the other side, we all feel it all together, that we can serve so many more people, to trust in themselves, to trust in life, to trust in their relationships. So already, like for 20 years, I see very, very big groups in front of me. It's big groups, like a whole room full of people. So which means now I know it's like probably 400 or 500 people in front of me. And that's not what's happening currently. Yeah, of course, virtually it is, but it's not in physical form. And so that's why I then sometimes got frustrated about all these images that I already get for a long time, since the moment that I got connected with Mother Earth and with universe, that I always get many of these messages, and that the reality being different. And that was just frustrating me, and I didn't realize that because I was so focused on that future and creating that I was also, through this mental process, exhausting myself. And it's maybe good just to think about it and to realize and to reflect on how can I sometimes really just stop my mental process. I was going to the yoga today. I was talking to Patricia, and Patricia said, "You're going now to the yoga and you're talking to me about the company while you are going to a place to relax." And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. It's like it's like a constant stream, and it's not that it's like always bad or something, I also get lots of ideas, and that inspires me. But indeed, I'm always with my feet into the future. So that's the second part, next to like this worrying pattern within my system of always worrying at the future and then creating solutions and ideas, is that I'm with my feet in the future. So which means in my filtering system, my whole development, and it's already a lot better than before, but my whole development still is to be even more in the here and now, because that's where it's happening. And so maybe it's another else you are listening to, and that's okay, because I was doubting, shall I share something about my personal process on what's happening behind the scene. And I know lots of you are tired, I can start crying now, because the whole situation of COVID, I didn't realize it, but it put me back into this, sometimes in these mental processes, and it tired me out. I went beyond my limits, and it's been an exhausting journey, and we are still not out of it. And I think also I got Corona a couple of weeks ago. It all came a lot closer than I had ever expected, because I I was like doing sports for 5 times a week. I was eating very healthy. So I was not inviting the illness or the virus within my system, but yeah, I was already like 3-4 weeks into kind of how do you call that? Like a little flu, and then I got it because someone close to me got it. And it's not about that virus, but it's about the whole changes we had to go through, and the holy shit or the collective shit we had to digest together, and more. So yeah, I think lots of entrepreneurs who have a good established company, and everyone has his issues, everyone has his points of development. And I was coaching people the last days. I enjoyed it. I helped them big time, and gives a lot of deep insights for people and cleaning up. And so it's not that having this physical situation right now that I noticed that I went beyond my boundaries for too long time, that I cannot do my job. Because I love my job, I get lots of energy of it. So if it would be taken away from me, then I wouldn't probably be the most happy person. But the thing is that for the next coming time, I'll need to even be more conscious about my mental processes, about my lag being all the time in the future, to be more in the here and now, and in essence to balance the masculine and the feminine energy even more. And in that sense also, what I've learned is in my own personal coachings is to also lean back more into the masculine energy. And what do I mean with that? And I'll talk about it more in the next podcast. I will not talk about it in this podcast. I'll just say for the people who know lots of masculine energy, are doing energy, I notice that they have difficulty leaning back. Listen to the next podcast. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for your presence. Check out more inspiration on elsvanlaken.com, and let's spread the positive energy together by sharing this podcast with your friends, family, and business partners. Do you want to contact us personally? That's possible. Just send us a mail on hello@elsvanlaken.com, and we answer all mails personally. Talk to you soon.